Okay, so sleds packed, ready to go, but here we go. So, I was hoping before I set off on this thing to do some kind of vlog where I tell the whole story back to back to back to back. However, I very quickly realized that it's not going to happen for twofold. I think, number one, practically, just the phone in and out, hand, number one. Number two, my lips froze, so I couldn't really talk as much as I wanted to. And also, I made the decision very quickly once we got stuck in that I needed to stay present, but we'll talk a little bit about that later on. So what I've done is I filmed a whole bunch of stuff during the expedition and during my time up on the ice. And here are some videos. Some of them are voiceover, others I'll play out, and then I'll pop in every once in a while just to try and link them together for you. But just wow. And then what I'll do at the end is Joni asked a few questions. I've got quite a few questions people have asked. I'll do a little Q&A just on all the questions. But for now, let's go back to the bus and back to Svalbard. All right. Here we go. Yeah, just a show. Okay, about, I don't know, how long we're in? Half an hour? And first layers come off. We're going to manage temperature. Fuck, I feel the reflection. Okay, anyway. It's pretty out here though. It's like a history lesson. It's remarkable how hot it gets. It's quite strange. Stripping layers off. So Burn just took out one of his layers because you get too hot. And if you get too hot, you start sweating. Lips are dead. And if you sweat, it gets cold and ices. So you're going to manage that quite well. Okay, on we go. So the first time we put up camp, it's very interesting because we spent quite a bit of time in the warehouse the day before learning how to use the gas burners and the stoves and how to set up the tents and stuff. Now, setting up a tent normally is interesting, but if you've got a little bit of wind, if you have mittens, which make you feel like a complete idiot, it's a different story. So incredible tents, very easy to use. And later on, I did a bit of a time lapse in reverse of us taking the camp down. But this next scene here, this was just when we started, or just when we finished setting up our very first camp, and even that was like a sense of accomplishment. But anyway, let's carry on. So one of the things that you do when you set up camp is you go and chop snow blocks, and they'll get melted down in order for you to get your thermoses full to make dinner, breakfast and so on. A little bit of water in the kettle, you add your snow blocks, and eventually you get hot water. It's pretty cool. We just hit the sun for the first time since last night. That's fucking glorious. On one of the days when we were heading up to our camp, we followed the same route that a lot of the dog sledding companies use to get to an ice cave. And it was pretty cool to get this group coming past us. Love these guys. I haven't done too many videos talking to the phone. Skiing, moving, setting up camp, and just getting lost in this. It is absolutely stunning. I mean, there's nothing around us, just our tent. Just went into an ice cave, very different to the Iceland ice cave. It was very crystal based. Put some videos together. But yeah, this is something I'll say. Okay, the kettle's still going, stove's still going. Gotta pack the bag, get the boots on, pack all of that away. It's very cold today and the wind's been blowing the whole night, so. This is a time lapse of us breaking our camp down. Now, I think we got it down to about 40-45 minutes. But it's probably one of the coldest times during this whole trip. You've just had breakfast and then you've got to step out and put all of this together. But a great experience. Now, if you follow on Instagram, you would have seen that I posted 10 images as a carousel just when I got back. And I don't think I have ever had a meal as good as those noodles. And I'll talk a little bit about it at the end in the Q&A, but the idea is you go for 1 hour, 15-minute break, 1 hour, 15-minute break, third hour, lunch. And lunch, the main highlight, the main course, is basically a cup of 2-minute noodles with cheese at the bottom, like a block of cheese, and some salami. But after moving for quite a bit of kilometers in the day, sitting down with everybody in line on your little mat and having those noodles, it's insane. It was so good. Anyway, let's carry on.
Not shit.
After spending the day out on a glacier, stunning surroundings, this was the scenes as we headed back to camp for the last night. Okay, before I wrap up, there's 2 more videos after this. One of the flight home and one arriving home, which is pretty cool. I'm going to just run through a few of the questions that Joni sent through. Quite a few people have asked questions, but most of this is captured in here. So, here we go, Q&A. So since you don't have snow in Africa, do you think that affected how you train to get ready? Meaning, once you got going on your expedition, surely your muscles react differently in the cold. Will you train differently for your next one? So I did what I could back home. A lot of rucking with the weighted vest, a lot of leg training, a lot of strength training. So what I did is I did a bit of research before, deep dive, I do that. And for every, I think the science I saw was for every half a degree under freezing, so half a degree Celsius under zero, your body strength drops by like 2% or something. Now, most mornings we woke up with minus 30, minus 31, which is a dramatic drop in strength. I said to Bern one evening, when we tented together, that you almost feel like a new human because everything is difficult. You've got to learn how to use your mittens. Standing up is hard because it's just the strength is gone. So for the next one, and yes, there is a next one, I'll talk about it later, I will definitely be rucking again. Strength training, I know now exactly what strength training to do. I have a background in that, so I can put that together. But also I will do more dedicated tire drags. So I'm going to get some old tires and 2 walking poles and drag that shit up and down the streets here. So sorry for the people who live close by, but that would probably be the only thing that I add. But muscles definitely react different in the cold. I consider myself on the stronger side. I can lift heavy weights, but there you just feel like a new human. So some changes, but I think overall, for what I knew, I think I did pretty well. Next one. How long/far did you go for each stretch that went each day? So on our 4 nights out, 5 days, I think we covered, what did Eric say, about 55 kilometers? So it depends 100%. I mean, depending on the weight of the sled, are you going uphill, what time you set off, wind conditions. So we did in the 4 nights, 5 days, I think 55 kilometers if I remember correctly. And yeah, it's weird because you can't judge. You look up and you'll see a glacier in the front. You look down, you go for an hour, and it kind of looks closer, but maybe not. So yeah, total 55, and then we broke that into about 5 or 6 sessions a day, I think. How do you charge your phone? Solar power pack? Can you even take a camera? So I can actually show you the power pack that I used. It was this. So it's an Anchor. The brand is Anchor, right? It's pretty neat. It has everything in there that I need. And this block has performed very well in the cold conditions. I charged that full. I charged my phone full. Because my phone's off, right? So it doesn't eat as much juice. So I only charged on the 3rd last night because I was using it only for a camera. And in my ski jacket, in my Helly Hansen ski jacket, they've got a life pocket. So it lives in the top zip over here and in. And that saved the battery beautifully. Some people did have issues with their phones just switching off in the cold. But I think the pocket helped. And I did take a camera. I took my OM1 with a short lens. I can also charge that off the block. So that block can charge everything I own. Laptop, my, iPad, everything. Camera included. I didn't use it that much purely because my hands were dumb because of the mittens. But it literally froze one day. I tried to, it was frozen, but it's still working. So if I go again, will I take the camera again? Yes, but I will definitely stick to my Anchor charger and my phone, which all the images I've shared so far and all the videos in this particular video you're watching has been done on the iPhone, which is great. Did we have any wildlife encounters? That's a negative. We saw a couple of reindeer and birds once or twice, but nothing dramatic. Every night, though, in order to stay safe, you put a perimeter fence around, and it's basically fish line all the way around, and then there's flares on every pole. So if anything does, polar bear, trip it, then at least you can wake up from that. Sorry, just on the previous question, solar power pack. No, I didn't take a solar power pack because you never know how much sun you get. But that thing for me works. My next one will probably be 25 days, so I might have to look at that. But for now, that was cool. What do they have available if someone in your group has a medical emergency? Satellite phone, yes. So Eric, who led the trip, has got a sat phone. I use a similar one when I go to Svalbard for my trips. It's a Go Iridium. It's a small little modem which we can connect out. In this instance also, we were never too far from Longyearbyen. So if the shit hit the fan, we would be able to extract. I'm going to just jump. We did, Sasha, one of the ladies, had an issue with her leg on the day 2 or 3, so we had to get her out. Luckily, we went back past one of the roads, so we could get someone to collect her and take her out. So, yes. What do they have available if someone in your group has a medical emergency? Okay, yes, we've done that. Obviously, first aid kits and stuff as well. Did you use your cooking equipment to warm your tent at all at night, or was your sleeping bag warm enough? What was the average temperature? The 2 mornings that I remember Eric and Marty giving us, the temperature was minus 29.5, minus 30 something. I think we averaged mid-20s maybe like early 20s under Celsius. So it was pretty fucking cold. So how the temperature in the tent works, once you're up, you probably go into the tent at about 6 o'clock in the evening once you've set up, right? You then light the stove. So if you go back to my previous video, the expedition prep, you'll see it there. We then have that thing running for about 4 hours. So during that 4 hours, it is heating the tent. There's a little wire at the top of the tent where you can hang stuff that you want to try and unfreeze or get warm. And that heats the temperature inside. That's also while you're making food and boiling water and so on. The sleeping bag is what you have, but the tent is warmer than the outside. That said, you saw earlier on, there was this one video where I woke up and there's ice on the sleeping bag. So it's still not warm. It's warmer. So you run the stove for 4 hours in the evening and then 2 hours in the morning from 6 o'clock when you wake until 8:30, and then you get out the tent and you start your day. I've had, and too much info, but it is what it is, you have a pee bottle to pee in, right? So it's a big Nalgene bottle, and what I would do is inside my sleeping bag. So I had a silk liner, then my sleeping bag, and another one big over, which was okay. And I slept with a fleece and a thermal and a puffy jacket on the last 2 nights. But anyway, you would pee in the bottle, right? Aim nicely, all the good stuff, and you'd put it aside. And then literally, if you wake up hour and a half later inside the tent, it's rock hard. It's rock hard. So it freezes very quickly. I also used my bottle where I had my rehydrate and stuff like that in. Also froze. So you've got to play this balance of boiling water, cooling down, and when do you have it. But yeah, the stove does help inside quite a bit. I was wondering about the woman in your group. Where was she from? Do they have much interest for women? I do think so. I think most of the trips that I've seen pictures of, there's quite a few women involved. Sasha was from Australia. We had a great trip together. I mean, her, myself, and Bern had a phenomenal time. Al and Christina also joined. They were guiding students who joined us for the trip. So yeah, just a phenomenal group. Great vibe. And Bern, yes, I will see you in Greenland. You're not backing out. Just saying. Was it mind-blowing to be in such a vastness and challenging your emotional, mental, and physical self? Just can't even imagine what it would feel like. Sure, you can't share everything you were thinking, maybe saving for your book. Yes. So I'm literally still processing a lot of the stuff because it was, overall, I think it was ridiculously more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but it was also ridiculously more rewarding. It's probably one of the more difficult things, if not the most difficult thing I've done physically and mentally, but it was beautiful. I think I wrote a post on Instagram and in my newsletter. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'll put it on the website. I spoke about, we all have these voices in the head, right? And normally they're dark and evil and tell you bad shit about regret and shame and guilt and you should and you shouldn't have. So those ones that wake you up on a Tuesday morning at 1:35, yeah? And as I started, literally the first 20 minutes, I'm, what the fuck am I doing here? What is this boy from Africa doing here? I can't do this. But you have no choice to carry on. So just that doing the hard work and keeping going, after a while, I think the voices are just like, listen, this guy's not listening to us, let's shut up. And to me, one of the most amazing things was that dead, quiet headspace where there's nothing. The clarity, the peace of mind. I cannot put a price on that. And it's something I wish I could bottle and give to my clients when we talk coaching and stuff. It's just amazing. So, yeah, it's the book thing has come up multiple times, and I know I need to do it. I've got notes. I've got 2 journals that I've started. So, I don't know. I must just get there. You guys need to push me. I need to do this. It's really a thing. But that's about it for the questions. Yeah. So, it was amazing. What's next? So, Bern, Greenland. Realistically, I want to. So, this is a part of my white whale, right? This is step 1. And the next step for me is Greenland, which is May or June next year. I'm going to speak to Eric. I have said to him I want to do this. Obviously, it's not just something you get on a plane and go. There's preparation. I would have to look at fundraising. I would have to look at timing and so on and so forth. But that would be a 25 to 28 day, I think, crossing. So similar to what I did now for 28 days. That is the goal. I would like to very much try and get ice time before then. So again, I'm going to look at having to raise funds. I'm looking to do some kind of something. I don't know, some awareness. I've got a resilience and positive mental headspace idea I want to wrap around it. Do I include something nature, wildlife as a kind of a charity and we build that up? I don't know yet. But it is something that I am going to do. One way or another, it will happen. And I think it's twofold. I want to do the hard stuff. I want to finish. This is step 1 on my white whale. Greenland would be 2. If I can get somewhere end of the year and do a 5 to 7 day trip on the ice, that would be great. The other thought was maybe to do the same trip I did now. They do 5 and 9 day trips this time of year, like now March, with Eric and them, and then do the May Greenland. Why don't some of you guys join and we do like a group of 5 or 6 in March next year? It's a mind fuck of note. It is. You walk away a different person. Life-changing, like for real. Anyway, so that's the plan. It will happen again. It's very difficult. I spoke to Lisa last night, and the idea of coming home, and she said she thought about me because it is such a dramatic jump from that to this. It's hard. I'm still processing. It's going to take a while, but one of the best things I've done in my life. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to take you back. 2 more video clips, and this is a wrap. Thanks for watching, if you still are, and thanks for all the messages and support and stuff. It's been real. But what an adventure, man. What an adventure.